It's not no one's making it about personalities. I mean, like, it's just a simple question. Do you think Kamala Harris is the best running mate for President Biden? You've said she's excellent. That's farther than Speaker Pelosi went. But do you think she's I'm not trying to throw anything into turmoil. I actually think it's a pretty simple question. Do you think Kamala Harris is the best running mate for President Biden? Yes or no?
I mean, I don't know what else I can say other than she would be
yes.
An excellent running mate and an excellent vice president. I don't know whether President Biden has named his running mate. We're going to a convention next summer. It's a year away from now, and we're going to go through that process. So,
I mean, you say I don't know why you can say. The answer is you could say yes. You could say yes. I think Kamala Harris is the best vice president and the best running mate for President Biden. That's the answer you could be giving right now. Yes, she is.
So I've not seen any public opinion polling. You might be a stronger vice presidential running mate than her or me or anybody else. I don't know who else, if you're talking about the polling, but I will tell you as a matter of substance and public policy, she'd be an excellent choice.
Wow.
And she and the president have done an excellent job.
Several days later.
Before I let you go, Congressman, I wanted to ask you, because you were recently asked about Kamala Harris being on the ticket as the vice president. You've been such a supporter of the Biden-Harris agenda and presidency and vice presidency. Are you confident in the ticket, and how do you feel about the vice president remaining on the ticket?
Great. I feel excellent about that, and there should be no confusion about it. I think.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about sleepy Joe Biden and his son, Hunter, who is suing the IRS, claiming whistleblowers violated his privacy by releasing tax info. Now, again, the irony of this headline is absolutely amazing, considering how Hunter Biden has had all of his privacy exposed to the world through his laptop that he left at a repair shop in Delaware. Okay, one of the dumbest moves that anybody could have pulled in history. Had he not done that, his father would not be under investigation for selling out the American people overseas through Hunter Biden's business deals. Okay, and also we would have seen, nude pictures of Hunter Biden and other pictures of him doing drugs and all types of other things that have gotten Hunter Biden in trouble as a result of that laptop. And for him to come out here and to sue the IRS for violating his privacy is absolutely hilarious, right? It is. It really is. Okay. So with that being said, a much more serious topic in relation to Joe and Hunter, which is Joe fearing that he might die soon before Hunter Biden's legal woes are resolved. Okay, Joe Biden feels like he doesn't have that much time left. And this is a big deal because Democrats lately have been very iffy on his replacement, Kamala Harris, being the right pick for VP, as Joe Biden pretends that he's actually going to run again in 2024. And you have Gavin Newsom, who is coming out once again and trying to clear the air in speculation in regards to whether or not he's going to run in 2024 and whether or not he supports Kamala Harris as VP. Take a look.
News poll shows only 1/3 of American voters think that Joe Biden will stay in office through a second term. I know you're downplaying concerns about his age, but do you believe that voters don't have any reason to be concerned that he would be 86 years old by the end of his second term?
Voters have every right to be concerned, but maybe I'm a little. I remember Bobby Kennedy said it best: that what the world needs are the qualities of youth, not a time of life, but a state of mind, a quality of imagination. I mean this. I couldn't imagine 3 years ago that this president could accomplish so much in such a short period of time. I mean that. If this political season is all about a celebrity, with all due respect, we had a celebrity for 4 years. It didn't go well. And so I want a seasoned pro that knows how to get things done. I'm a little old-fashioned. I want a guy who produces results. And the results are in. It's been a masterclass. There's simply no administration in my lifetime that's been more effective producing more substantive results.
You and Vice President Kamala Harris go way back.
Yep.
You say that you came up together in San Francisco, knew each
Before
other.
we were in politics.
Before you were in politics. Yeah. I'm sure you saw that former Speaker Emerita, Nancy Pelosi, she heaped praise on Kamala Harris, but she declined to say whether or not she thought that the vice president is the best person to be on the ticket with Joe Biden in 2024. Do you?
Of course she is. The Biden-Harris administration, masterclass in terms of performance. Bipartisan deals on infrastructure, bipartisan deals on guns and debt ceiling, on the chips and science.
She's the best choice.
I mean, by definition, if I think this administration the last 2.5 years has been one of the most outstanding administrations in the last few decades, and she's a member of that administration, she gets to lay and claim credit to a lot of that success. The answer is absolutely.
All right, such unequivocal support. Let's just be real. We don't hear that even from a lot of Democrats.
And that's exactly why he's trying to be out there with such unequivocal support. I mean, in various ways, he says that the Democratic Party needs to stop hemming and hawing, needs to stop sort of gnashing their teeth collectively.
Yeah.
And he says point blank, this is the train that is leaving the station, so we all need to get on board. And this train, he's referring to the Biden-Harris reelection campaign. And what he's been trying to do, not just I guess really by example, Aaron, is say, this is how you do it. Stop whining, stop worrying, get out there and sell this ticket, because this is the ticket that we have.
Well, he's selling masterclass, listing off all of the accomplishments as he sees them, right? I mean, and just like point blank, no pause support for Kamala Harris. Again, I'm just saying it does contrast with what you hear from so many others.
Yeah, so you've seen that, you heard that. That is Gavin Newsom trying to play cleanup for Kamala Harris, okay? Because he's the only Democrat that can come out here and say with a straight face that he believes that Kamala Harris is a good or great VP choice for Biden, as he pretends that he's going to try to campaign for president again in 2024. Again, it's just fascinating how much chaos is in the Democrat Party and how much they're trying to hide the fact that the Democrat Party is in a state of chaos. Okay, you have Gavin Newsom on CNN basically trying to sell a shit sandwich to the American people, right? Telling the Democrats, instead of doing the right thing, which is abandoning ship, right? And just making Joe resign and resetting with, I don't know, Gavin Newsom running or somebody else, right? Instead of doing that, no. Sell the American people a shit sandwich, okay? Sell them high inflation, sell them high gas prices, sell them high crime, okay? Sell them an open border, sell them unlimited abortion up until after birth.
You have probably heard more and more Republicans, including Donald Trump, who just over the weekend accused Democrats of supporting abortion rights up to and after birth. Can you be clear about...
What does that mean, after birth, abortion after birth? It's made up. It's a political
Well, can you just be clear about what limits on abortion should be?
It's a political thing. People are not seeking abortion.
But what is
the
policy? What should it be?
The policy, it's not up to Donald Trump or me. It's up to you, to women that have to bear that responsibility uniquely and distinctively. And the reality is, it's a canard. It's a political frame. It's total BS. And it's exactly where they need to go because they know they've gone too far.
But there has to
on the
be
other
some
side.
kind. Well, let me just talk about your state of California. As you well know, there's a law in books that preceded you that says that you can have an abortion up until viability, which is about 24 weeks.
That's right.
Is that something that you support personally?
That's in statute in the state of California. That said, there was a constitutional amendment that we placed on the ballot that has some nuance in it. And so that's an area that's being adjudicated in public opinion and likely will ultimately be adjudicated in
is
the
it
courts.
the government's role then? I know you said it's
not
up
our
to
role
women.
to make that decision.
So there should be nothing on the books?
This is a canard. This is a false flag. This is where they need to go in order to get out of the mess they've created, because they don't believe in fundamental choice and freedom for women. They don't. Period. Full stop. And this whole issue is a political issue. And so with respect, I'm not surprised that Donald Trump is saying this. This is exactly what you hear every single one of them say next week down at the Reagan Library. And at the end of the day, those examples are so extreme, so rare. When you have literally viability issues that are deeply personal and painful, others have said it more eloquently than I have. After you picked out the name of the baby, and then you're forced to make this terrible decision at the end of a term, and to exploit that for political purposes offends.
I just want to be clear because people are going to be listening very carefully to what you're saying.
Yeah.
You do not believe it is the role of government, nationally or state government, to have any limits on the books legally.
The state of California has long believed in viability. I've long believed in viability. We went forward with a constitutional amendment that's created some questions as it relates to this. My point is no one wants to see late term abortions. No one's out there promoting that. That's what the Democratic Party's position is. It's not what my personal position is. In those rare and extremely rare and personal circumstances, one thing I absolutely believe, Donald Trump shouldn't be making that decision. I sure as hell should not be making that decision. That's a decision for the mother, the would-be mother, and for her doctor, and for whomever member of her family or priest believes that's the right thing to do. And beyond that, with all due respect, I call BS on this whole debate. It is purely a political canard.
Yeah, that's the Democrat Party platform, guys, right? When it comes to this issue of abortion, this man can't give you a straight answer about whether or not he supports abortion up until and even after birth, right? Because we know that that is the extremist position of the Democrats, right? But hey, go out there and just roll with it. Roll with what you've done, which is a terrible job, right? Again, it's just fascinating. Okay, this is the state of the Democrat Party. And even CNN can see that at the very least when it comes to this issue of age, okay, and the state of the Democrat Party, that maybe, just maybe, there is a difference between seeing somebody like Gavin Newsom be the nominee versus somebody like Joe Biden.
Senator David Axelrod, former senior advisor during the Obama administration. Let me ask you the sodium panel thought question. I mean, he's out there, he's debating Sean Hannity, he's talking to Dana for an hour-long special, obviously very loyal to Joe Biden, obviously doesn't want to distract, but come on, he's primed and ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the White House is very gratified for some of the things that he's saying. I don't know that they'd be as enthusiastic about his ubiquitous presence on the air. It's sort of like, just at the time when Democrats are concerned about their aging, spouse, here comes the young neighbor, young strapping potential partner.
Did you see the split screen?
Yeah.
That we were. I don't know I don't know if we were doing that on purpose, but it just looked like.
Yeah. I mean, look, I think that he knows he's a sophisticated guy. He knows that he's playing against the story right now. And, I don't think he's setting himself up to run in 2024. I actually agree with him, Jake, that I think Biden's running.
Right.
I think Biden's going to be the nominee.
Right.
But he's certainly getting a head start on 2028. I don't think there's any question about that.
So whether it's for 2028 or if, God forbid, something were to happen and there would be an opening for somebody to run, there would be a Democratic race. Obviously, Gavin Newsom. And remember, I'm also talking about theoretically 2028.
Yes.
So I could be talking about either one. Gavin Newsom, Vice President Harris, Secretary Pete Buttigieg, Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. They're all out there as potential.
Yeah, so you've seen that, you heard that. Okay, that is CNN drooling over Gavin Newsom, right? They're drooling over the guy, okay? They're just talking about how much of a difference it is between seeing somebody like Gavin Newsom, who can actually complete a sentence, versus Joe Biden, who can't complete a sentence, okay? I mean, I'm just saying, the liberal media, they're trying their best to try to push Biden out, okay? Which is a funny thing to see, because they don't want to do it through impeachment, because they know that impeachment actually hurts the whole Democrat Party, right? And it hurts Biden's legacy. So when it comes to the conversation of impeachment, even though there's evidence, they always come out here and say, oh, there's no evidence, it's a witch hunt to protect Biden. But yet they're more than willing to throw Biden on the bus in regards to pushing him to step down because of his age, right? Or because his approval ratings are low. It's just a fascinating thing to watch, right? It really is, okay? They don't want to get on Biden for the obvious corruption, but they'd be more than happy to get on Biden for his age. Which again, even Biden's worried about, allegedly, okay? Apparently he fears that he might die soon. So let's read about this. President Biden knows Father Time is coming. The 80-year-old commander-in-chief fears he won't live to see the end of his son's Hunter's illegal jeopardy, NBC News reported over the weekend, days after the 53-year-old was indicted in Delaware on federal gun charges. The president and First Lady Jill Biden are, quote, resigned to the fact that Hunter's legal problems will likely worsen in the months ahead, according to the outlet, with a source close to the family saying Joe Biden has lamented out loud that, quote, he might be dead before his son's case would be resolved. Other reports have highlighted Biden's near fanatical devotion to his only surviving son and his refusal to countenance any advice to distance himself from Hunter as he gears up for a re-election campaign. Quote, everybody walks around on eggshells in the West Wing, NBC News quoted one source as saying on the topic. Hunter Biden has faced years-long investigations into dodging his income taxes, potential violation of federal lobbying laws, a gun purchase made while he was addicted to crack cocaine, and other possible crimes related to his foreign business dealings, all of which has reportedly taken a toll on his powerful relatives. Quote, every day this president wakes up and thinks about his deceased son, Beau, and probably cries every day. And the weight of Hunter's legal troubles is equally emotionally taxing. Former Jill Biden press secretary Michael LaRosa told NBC, adding that the Bidens are incredibly protective of Hunter. Okay, so if that's the case, then drop out, right? I mean, I'm so serious, right? Why are you continuing to be president if you're so worried about your son, okay, and you want to spend more time with him, and it's taking such an emotional toll on you to the point where I can imagine it's probably hard to do your job when your son is such a distraction? Then I don't know, maybe you should step down. But then again, if he steps down, he won't have control over the Justice Department, right? He won't be able to affect the outcome of his son's legal troubles, which again, they're pretending as if, he's going to face some serious consequences, even though we know that that's not the case. But let's read here. Hunter faces 3 charges in Delaware related to lying about his drug use on a federal background check form when he bought a Colt revolver in 2018. The count carries a maximum sentence of 25 years in prison if he is convicted. Hunter could face additional criminal cases in D.C. and Los Angeles for tax fraud and illegal foreign lobbying. So again, they say Hunter Biden could actually be locked up in jail, right? This is what they say. Okay. And apparently Joe is worried about it. He's worried that his legal troubles are going to last so long that he's going to die before it's done, right? Which means that Joe Biden is thinking about his age and he's thinking about how long he's going to live, which is not a good sign, right? For an 80-year-old man. Okay, and that is why this question about his age is so important, because, I mean, this guy is clearly on his last legs, and I honestly think that while Gavin Newsom is not going to run against Biden, right, I do think in the event that Joe Biden dies, maybe in the next, 6 or 8 months, God forbid that happens, but if Joe Biden happens to kick the bucket, I do think at that point you might see Gavin Newsom actually enter the race. Now, up until this point, I've been convinced that what actually is going to happen is that Biden is going to drop out in August, right? Okay, right after the primary season so that, Democrats are not forced to have a primary, okay, because RFK is in the race. He's still in the race and others. They don't want that, right? And then Kamala will just take over, right? It will just be the Kamala ticket, okay? And Pete Buttigieg. However, I do think that there is a chance that Gavin Newsom could run. And I think he's hedging just in case something happens to Joe Biden, in which at that point he would feel the need to kind of step in, right? And to try to run. Now, again, Kamala would be president at that point if something happens to Joe. But I think that at that point, I think that that would be a reason to say, hey, you know what? We should run a guy that actually gives us the best chance of winning instead of sticking with, Kamala and Joe, or Kamala, or continuation of the Biden administration. We could just hit a hard reset instead of a soft reset because Joe kicked the bucket, right? But I still think that that's very unlikely. And I think the only reason Gavin is not running is because he knows that that party would literally be torn apart if he was to run and Kamala was to be pushed aside, right? All the pro-black, pro-women, woke revolutionaries, right? They would be upset that a straight white man is getting the go-ahead over Kamala Harris, right? Over a woman, and the opportunity for you to have the first woman and black woman president, right? That is what a lot of people would be upset about if Gavin was to enter the race, and that's why I think that he's just not, right? That's why I think he's not. But again, I personally think he's playing for 2028. Okay, I think that's a safer bet for him to run in 2028. But who knows? He could decide to jump in this race. Okay, again, especially if the circumstances change significantly. I think it's certainly a possibility, especially considering how Joe Biden himself and the American people have doubts that this man is going to actually make it through a full term. I mean, who knows? I mean, again, there's still a whole year until the next election. Things could change, right? Things, I think, in my opinion, is going to get crazy in 2024. I think 2024 is going to be the craziest year of politics since 2020. Okay, I really think it's going to be insane, right? I really do. But hey, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.